In my experience working with families is if there is one activity that is fundamental to success, that would be people regularly meeting. Whether it's focused intensely on succession or just getting together, the ranch weekly meeting or the daily check-in, that's how you build the safety and trust for people to talk about stuff when the big stuff shows up, is that they're used to meeting and comfortable listening, or comfortable respecting each other. And it just feels so good for the family when they have that confidence and trust that they can talk about difficult things. There's just nothing to replace that effort. There's nothing.
We'd already had family meetings before I had this diagnosis to talk to the kids about what was going to happen and why Andrea, wanted to stay on the ranch. And so we'd met with the kids and had our family meetings. And it was surprising to us that they got invited to a program, a young couples conference. I think there was 30 some couples in Helena. They went to this conference and they came home and said, do you know that there was only one other couple beside us that have ever had a family meeting? And all of those young couples, that's one thing they really wish for, that they could know what their future is or where they're going to be, because they're working on these farms and ranches and they really don't know. They haven't been told what's going to happen, just keep working. One of the things I've run into with some people, families, that one of the biggest problems is when you have people that, when you get a family meeting together, I think it's real important to talk to people and say, no matter what happens, we all stay in the room. I don't know if any of you have seen Jolene Brown speak. She's very comical and good, but she says one of the most important things for a family meeting is duct tape. And of course, we all think maybe we should cover up the mouth, but she said, no, you tape everybody to the chair. Because as soon as one person gets angry, says their piece, and gets up and leaves the room, you can't go forward. You've all got to sit there and listen to each other, and you got to agree you're not going to get mad and leave. And that really happens a lot. I think that's one of the most difficult things about communication is getting to know that it's just not okay. We're not going to get anything done if we're going to say our piece and leave the room. We've got to own up to what what our thoughts are. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Because you mentioned such importance of the family meetings, and you talked about how you did family meetings before your diagnosis and after. So I kind of have a two-part question. What do your family meetings look like? Like, what is it really casual, or do you set aside and say, hey, we're all getting together and this is what we're talking about? I'd like to hear some details on that. And then maybe you could tell us how your family meetings changed from before your diagnosis to after, or did they? Or were the family meetings discussion topics still all the same? Or once your diagnosis hit, have they held more weight, or have they had more depth or detail to them? I just would love to hear what your family meetings look like on a practical level.
Well, I think, normally we just felt the need. And I think the first time we really had an official, what we would call family meeting, was probably on an Easter Sunday when all the kids were there and all the spouses were there. And we just said, we need to sit down and talk about a few things. And that was mostly me talking and them listening, I think. Although,
they ask a lot of good questions.
Yeah, they do ask questions. And as we had more family meetings, I think the son-in-laws were more comfortable in participating. And, I understand that they were in an awkward position.
Well, I think once after he had the diagnosis, it felt like, where we have this time scale, so that it definitely got really serious. Like, the girls that weren't on the farm, there was land that wasn't so connected to the main place that if they were in a position where they needed to sell it someday, you know, it wasn't gonna affect the other operation, or would they lease it back to Andrea and Wyatt? I mean, a lot of really scenarios 10, 20 years down the road, how is it gonna affect everyone and the overall operation of the ranch? But yeah, a lot more technicality about what and you know, when things would change and how it would be, you know. And
It was Bill's suggestion several years ago to have family meetings. Now we do monthly meetings, and it's, we have an agenda and we keep minutes, and we have topics that we cover every month. I mean, the finances, long-term projects, short-term projects, and, where things are going. So everybody knows, how much money's in the bank, how much money we owe the bank, and how many calves we branded, and everybody knows what's going on. And I think it's really helped. I think everybody is, they're more engaged and they're less, nobody feels like they're in the dark.
Right.
So it's a good thing.
Communication is key to success. We started out with facilitated meetings 20 years ago. And, without that stepping stone, or that all the meetings I attend and all the associations I have with the people on the screen, communication is the key to success every time.
I think we all, I don't think anyone's born with great communication skills. I don't think I don't think God just lays, okay, you're going to have it and you're not. It's like, I know we shouldn't be afraid of the fact, like Leo said with facilitation, it's like, we can learn to be better communicators, and I can continue to learn to be a better communicator. And it's a practice. It's literally a daily practice. And, that's why when you meet, you're practicing, you just keep doing it. You get better at it. You never get perfect, but it's a practice. And if you don't practice, it's like playing the piano. If you don't practice, you're probably not going to play very well.